Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I go by Microbiologist Makes here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram. This is a channel where I talk about my hobbies related to mostly cross stitch, but also knitting, crochet, and thrifting. Welcome back if you're returning. This is episode number 13, my first Flosstube video of 2024, and it is also my Flossiversary, Flosstubeversary. So I started making these kind of videos back in January of 2023. So it's been a year and I've connected with so many wonderful people here on YouTube, other Flosstubers, and the wonderful community that's also on Instagram. So yeah, I'm just very happy with my experience here overall, and I'm very grateful for all of you too. So today I will be celebrating with a WIP parade. So I have 33 WIPs and I will be going through all of those. I also have my regular content related to crochet, knitting. So future editing Hannah here. I accidentally deleted a knitting and crochet segment that I had filmed, but the gist of it is that the cardigan I'm wearing here is by Hollywood Designs. It's called the Jilly cardigan, and I finished it just after my last video. So it's a very long-standing WIP, and I wanted to show it off. Okay, bye. And I went thrifting this morning, so there's a haul to be had there as well. All right, let's get into the WIP parade. I have 33 WIPs. Actually thought I had 32, but one wasn't on my spreadsheet. I use Notion to track everything. I use Stitchy Natee's template, which is awesome. It's a paid-for template, and you get so much with it. It's wonderful. I've customized, so I have like a goal section. I have some banners that I made for it. So if that's something like a tour of my my stitching planner in Notion, if that's something that would be of interest, I'd be happy to include that in a future Flosstube video. Let me know in the comments. But we're gonna go chronologically, oldest to newest. If I leave out any information, feel free to message me on Instagram, pop it in the comments. I'm sure I will leave something out along the way. Yeah, okay. We're gonna start with my oldest WIP, which is 2014. She's old. I started this sometime in 2014. I'm not sure. This is Lady and the Tramp, MCG Textiles Disney Dreams collection, artwork by Thomas Kincaid. This fabric is very dirty. And I'm about halfway. So once I finish just those spaces, the Siamese cats go there, then I'll be halfway. And I thought about splitting the remaining portion up into 12 parts and having assignments to do each month to finish this by the end of the year, because I really just need to finish this. But that hasn't happened yet, and it's almost the end of January, so we'll see. This quarter is backstitched. This quarter is not backstitched. I don't think I will backstitch it until I'm completely done with the piece, because it's split in half. So yeah, there's some areas of backstitch that would continue down, and it's just weird to cut it off. So I think I'm going to save that all for the end, as miserable as that will be. Unfortunately, you can't get these kits anymore unless you want to pay too much on eBay. I bought these back when they were in production, so I'm very sorry about that. Cross Stitch the Globe actually put out a video a little while back about the Disney Dreams collection and just discussing that, and they mentioned me in it, and I'd really recommend you to go give them a watch. That was a really awesome video. You don't see that many people talking about these kits or working on these kits anymore, accessibility and everything. So yeah, go check that out. My next WIP is actually also a Disney Dreams kit. This is Bambi. Started sometime in 2019 in a weak moment when I broke my self-imposed rule of not starting another one of these kits before Lady and the Tramp is done. I also have Snow White in my collection, but I haven't started that. So yeah, this fabric is so stiff, but I haven't switched it out. It's just not fun to work on anymore, but I'm not gonna restart a different fabric. That's not happening. All right, my next one is Pleasures of Winter. This is a Dimensions Gold collection. This is the last kit I have to show. This is also out of print, but you can get it on eBay for not a ridiculous price. I saw Hello from Liz Matthews shared this recently, that she's working on this. I'm using all the kit fabric threads, and I have a good chunk done. This was started December 26, 2019. Sky's all half stitched, which is nice. Goes pretty fast. The snow, a good portion of the snow actually isn't even stitched. You just do the outlining in the blue, so it goes faster than you would think. I didn't pull that out this year for my Christmas stitching, although it sort of does have a wintry vibe, so maybe I can get myself a stitch on it. We'll see. And then my next one is a Shepherd Song by Plum Street Samplers. This is April 2020 start. I'm doing this on Tropical Stitches fabric, 36 count Gabriella, and I'm using all the called for threads. I've mentioned before I changed the verse, so it's like, may goodness and mercy follow thee, and then up top, and then there's like an option to add wrought by and then your name. I just continued that paraphrased Bible verse. I have a good amount of the sheep done. They kind of blend in with that green a little bit in this lighting, but I still have that house to do, which is pretty massive. I have to be in the mood for it, but I think I'd like to bring this out this spring for sure. Get some work done. Next, we have the Noel Sampler by Brenda Gervais. This was a November 27th, 2020 start. I'm doing this also on Tropical Stitches fabric. This one is Gabrielle. Well, the previous fabric I showed you is unnamed for the Shepherd Song. That's a Tropical Stitches unnamed fabric. This is Gabrielle. I thought I could possibly finish this season, but I did finish the house, which was a pretty big deal, I think. The top half is done. I just have some snow to fill in underneath the house. Alphabet, there's a deer with some vases and flowers. There's not too much left. I have most of the border done. I just have to continue it down the side and across the bottom. I just can't make myself work on Christmas WIPs anymore. I thought I could maybe finish this in January, knock that one off the list, but yeah, I don't want to work on Christmas stuff anymore. Okay, and then we have another problem child. This is the Winter Quaker Mystery Sampler from, I believe it was 2021. I started it January 11th, 2021. This is by Stickadine von der Wierenberg, and it's very wrinkly. I'm sorry. I'm stitching this on 40 count Woodland fabric by Zweigart, and I'm using DMC Blanc, the snowflakes, and a color and cotton for the pine trees. There's a bunch of animals that I haven't added in because I'm not a fan of all of them. Like I said, this was a mystery sampler, at least in parts, so like I was really happy with the fox. And like there's a bunny in there too that's cute, but some of them I think I'll swap out for other snowflakes or maybe try to rechart some. This is a weird situation. So I had someone reach out, or multiple people reach out, to see where they could get this chart, and Stickadine von der Wierenberg, which I'm butchering that name, I'm sorry, has a website, has a listing for this on the website. But if you add this to cart, it'll let you buy it, and then they'll email you and say that they're not distributing this as PDF anymore. Apparently there was issues with copyright issues with the PDF, and that was being sold, unfortunately, on other sites. So they just elected to not distribute this pattern anymore, which is sad. And I'm not sure, maybe you could reach out to them. I haven't personally. Maybe they're willing to make an exception on a case-by-case basis. I'm not sure. But unfortunately, at the moment, it doesn't seem that that pattern is readily accessible. And, all right, continuing with winter theme, we have Winter Wonder by Barbara Sestock. This was in a magazine, just cross stitch, I believe. I'll have put up a picture here. I started this in January 31st, 2021. I'm doing this on a 28 count even weave. It's just white. And I'm using the called for DMCs. There's also an option to stitch this with anchor threads, but I am doing it with the DMC. So I have some outlines of the trees. I had wished that I had done this on a smaller count now, but I'm not going to start it over, so it's pretty, but I think I'd prefer it on like maybe a 32, maybe not a 28, I don't know. Doesn't make that much of a difference, does it? But now we come to my first full coverage that's not a kit. So this is American Llewellyn's on Point by Artisy. I'll flash across the artist name because I can't remember off the top of my head. This I started on August 14th of 2021. This is on a 28 count even weave, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. Looks a lot like Bambi, the sky there. So yeah, I haven't gotten back to this. I have since found that I like 25/1 better than 28, but I'm not gonna restart. So this will just need some dedicated time sometime in the future. And then on September 26th, 2021, I started Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This one is close to a finish. I'm like 5,000 stitches out, so this will be done this year. I'm using called for DMC, except some of the trees I used color and cottons, except for that really variegated is the called for Silk by Gloriana. This is fabric that I dyed myself. This is a 28 count even weave. It's really all I had to work with at the time. This was like when the linen situation was not the best. So the called for green is like by Mountain Air Fabrics or something like that. That was sold out, or like you couldn't even order it at this time with the state of the world. But yeah, I just decided to dye some even weave with green apple RIT dye. And in certain lights, it's weird. It looks tan, and then sometimes it looks green. It's very green. On Instagram, I've noticed like when I post progress pictures that it looks tan, but it's a bright apple green. And now we have Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. This was available for free for a limited time, which is so generous. And I started this as, let's see, October 29th, 2021. I'm doing this on 40 count Bramble. I have a big cut of it here, and then I'm using DMC 3021. That's as far as I got. This one is really fun to work on. I love monochromatic pieces. This is my first long dog I've ever done, but I'm also really into like modern folk embroidery. I feel like they, big, detailed, often monochromatic pieces are my jam. Need to get back to that, as the popular saying goes. Next one is The Gather In. This is by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Sand Dollar by Be Stitch Me. I have the roof done, which was a big undertaking. I have the roof, some words, little quilt stars. I love this one. And I think it looks really cool in this fabric. I love a gray fabric. Up next is the Walk Fast Sampler. This is by Lindy Stitches, Golden Girls inspired. I started this is my first 2022 WIP. Started this on my birthday in 2022. And I'm doing this on Be Stitch Me 40 count Vanilla Latte. All the called for classic colorworks. Not much done. I think I have 500 stitches. I have a goal to work on this coming up in February. and maybe get to like the 50% mark in February. There's like 10,000 stitches in the pattern, so I feel like 5,000 stitches in a month isn't an outrageous goal. I love this one. Then in 2022, I decided to have 3 birthday starts. So this is my second. This is on a 46 count Purely Primitive by Silk Weaver. I started at the bottom. Didn't get super far. All the background is, yeah, fill in. So that border is a doozy, but it's so pretty. And I love the sentiment on the sampler. It fits me very well. And I do like working on 46, so this one's fun. I have a plan to use, I've done most of the color and cotton conversion from Stash, but sticking with like the colors that are called for. I'm not like changing anything up drastically. And then my last birthday start from 2022 was, I guess I do have one more kit to show you. This is an RTO kit. It's called Ginger Reflection. And I swapped out I'm using the kit threads, but I swapped out the fabric for a 32 count Picture This Plus Even Weave. It's called Murmur. And I have the corner of like the water. I love like the watercolor effect of this pattern. This is a very peachy linen. I'm not sure that it's showing up here. It kind of looks yellow. But it's like a peachy pink. I got a good chunk of the water in. I love the colors in this. I need to get back to it. Next up is a modern folk embroidery. I have started this on May 27th, 2022. It's a summer kaleidoscope. And I'm stitching this on 56 count Bergen linen. I think it's called Light Mocha. I'm using a Swasserfine silk. And it's so tiny. The repetitiveness of this pattern really doesn't bother me. I didn't get bored stitching what I have so far. So, should I say it again? I need to get back to this. Yeah, but I love that corally color. It's outside of the norm for me. I just thought it worked. So it's my one and only 56 count project because I think at the time I was watching the 911 stitcher and she was getting big into stitching on 56 count. So I bought 2 cuts of 56 count and Swasserfine silk from it's a store in New York. And anyway, I had plans to start 2 modern folk embroidery pieces on those, started one and realized, wow, this is no joke. I can do 56 count, but it's not like that leisurely, you know, like sort of comfort stitching. So yeah, I bit off more than I can chew, I guess. I'll leave it at that. Up next is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. Started this in June of 2022. This is on 36 count, or no, 40 count Boston by Seraphim Fabrics. I'm using I'm using a Gentle Arts conversion, I think, and then just anchor white for the white. Got the top stripe done. This one, I like stitching the words. I'll stitch a star, that's fun. Stitching those long lines, So my mom is also stitching this and she's very far, almost done. And yeah, she said, I'll stitch this for you, I'll finish it for you. I feel so guilty making her stitch this twice. So no, I'll finish it, but probably no time soon. This one I have a piddly start on. It's sad. I was really excited about this start and I don't know why. Like, I like the fabric, I like the threads. It's just, I haven't gotten back to it. This is Dasher and Dancer by Hobby House Needleworks. Oh, that's the store where I ordered the 56 count from, Hobby House. And this is on the called for fabric, which I believe is Antique Lace by Seraphim or Fibronowin in 40 count. And I'm using a Gentle Arts thread, not the call for. I think it's like red currant or something. I took all my projects out of their bag, so they don't have their supplies with them. And I have an A and a B and a little bit of border. Long ways to go. If you want to see this finished, I mean, lots of people finished it, but Ginger Show finished it. Of course she did. And it's beautiful. So I love seeing people stitching it in other colors too. Green is really pretty. I've seen people do it in green before. Up next, I'm going to have an avalanche here. Up next is Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Matthews. I love this piece so much. This is on 40 count Grandpa's sleeve. I'm doing a color and cotton conversion. I'm using some of the call for DMCs. Or not DMCs. Yeah, DMCs for the moths or the butterflies. I'm using DMCs. But then just using color and cotton from Stash. Got the giant pumpkin done, some of the mushrooms, some of the butterflies. I have big framing plans for this one. I think I have a frame that'll work, and I just have to finish it, obviously. This next one is Autumn Spirit, which I started in November of 2022. And this is by Karen Bodish. It's a pamphlet. I'm not sure like the name of this pamphlet, but you can get it for a couple bucks on eBay, Etsy. It's not in high demand. I'm stitching this on 32 count Willow by Be Stitch Me. And I have a wing. The chart is not fun to work with. Like the page breaks. The overlap is weird. There's actually an error in the overlap, so I have been riding the struggle bus with this one. But I think I pushed through the part there's an error in the chart, so I think I can keep going now without frustration. I just haven't. Okay, and next one is Christmas Bells Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. This was my Christmas start in 2022. I'm stitching this on 40 count Rocky Mountain by Extra Designs. I'm using color and cottons from my stash, and then the bells are like in the DMC toile, which I did use. And I don't know if the sparkle will pick up. It never really does on camera. I pulled this out a little bit this season, finished up like the second line of words, but that was it. I was really hitting the Christmas smalls hard this year, doing all the small projects, so my existing large Christmas WIPs didn't get the attention they deserve, unfortunately. I guess there's still time for this one. So this is Hello from Liz Matthews, Quaker Snowflakes. This was my New Year's start in 2022. I actually started this on December 31st, 2022. And this is all the far that I am. Just the top border and a couple little snowflakes. This is on a 36 count color and cotton. It's pewter. And I'm stitching this with a color and cotton chimney sweep. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I mean, it's still winter here. Very wintry outside, so maybe I'll work on that this month. I don't know. I don't like holding myself to things, but it's so pretty. I love that chart. This one I started on January 14th with a bunch of people. I believe Kansas City girl, Julie, started this Sal. This is the Beatrix Potter Quaker Sal. This chart was reprinted or issued by Stitchy Box. So it's actually a sampler that belonged to Beatrix Potter. I don't believe it was stitched by her necessarily, but it was in her possession. And it's displayed in a museum somewhere in England or the UK, I believe. So this is stitched on 46 count color and cotton. It was a club piece. I think it's heritage lace or heirloom lace. And I'm using a Gentle Arts thread, like a rusty gold color. I'm about 25% done. I love seeing all the different color combinations that everyone has come up with. So many people are stitching this, and it's just beautiful. So there's actually initials that go in this wreath. I haven't put them in yet because I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I thought about maybe charting out a quote in different parts to fit in there, because there's multiple medallions with different initials in them, but haven't gotten to that point yet. All right, the next one, I'm actually going to show you a singular project bag, this WIP parade, because this was sent to me by a lovely, lovely viewer. I hope she doesn't mind me name dropping here, but Lori, she was so generous and sent me 2 project bags. This one is housing Settling In. The artist is Chris Dunn, charted by Pain Free Crafts. This has been my focus project as of this month. I've gotten 100 stitches a day on this, so I sort of set a goal to do a daily 100 on this piece. And it adds up. I got a page finish, and I started on another page. So I'm going across the top. That's going to be my plan of attack here. I'm going to do like a typewriter sort of row by row situation. And yeah, I'm starting into some different background there. There's like a vine going across the wall. So no more brick for the time being. And yeah, just plugging away a little bit at a time, I find that I'm making pretty good progress. So that one ordinarily lives in this gorgeous, gorgeous project bag. Thank you, Lori. Been leaving it on the Q-snap lately. Next up is a series that I'm counting as a WIP, like a singular WIP. This is Night Signs by Tiny Modernist. Oh, I should mention, Settling In was started on my birthday in 2023. So we're now into the 2023 WIPs. And this was started in August of 2023. I have one of the pillows done, or they're going to be pillows. I think in the model they're stitched in like a grid, but I'm going to do them separately as pillows. So I have one done. I'm going to do all 4, like I said. This is on 32 count slate by Fabrics by Stephanie, and I'm just using color and cottons that fit the vibe of that the model is. So next up, this was my back to school start hosted by Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher. This is Exquisite Lace by Works by ABC. So I started this on September 1st, 2023. This is on 40 count seaweed, and I'm using a DMC 642. Have a corner done. This is so pretty. Green is definitely my favorite color, and this fabric is just so cool. Now we're getting into some fall themes. I started a bunch of things in September of 2023 apparently. This is by Blueberry Ridge Design, Sampler of the Season's Autumn. This is on 40 count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using a very, very variegated color and cotton thread. I believe it's called Sweet Potato. It goes from orange to brown. It's really awesome. Super 70s. And I have a corner done. I love this chart. I think Pam from Just Keep Stitching had this in that she picked up the chart. I don't think she started it, but I don't see too many people working on it, and it's just so cute. Like, there's so many cute little bits to it that are fun to stitch, like that little mug. That was fun. There's mushrooms somewhere in it, so I'm excited for that too. Next up, we have the Artsy Housewife. Love the Artsy Housewife. This is a 40 count that I dyed myself. It's kind of crazy. But I'm doing dark Golden Delicious. So there's a light version as well. They're both gorgeous. But I had this dark fabric knocking around, so I decided to use it for something. I'm using the called for threads, and I have the side border going. Avalanche happened, people. We have some projects that fell off the bed. Yeah, I'm using the called for threads, and they are super, super vibrant and unlike anything I have really else in my collection. So next up is the Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Matthews. This was another September 2023 start. I've talked about this fabric at length before. I dip dyed it myself. This is 32 count using the DMC called fours. Apologize for that major crease. I'm leaving the house till last, apparently. But hopefully that'll be a 2024 finish. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Next up, this one I left off my WIP list initially, but then found it in a bag. So this is Harvest Tiny Town. I have such a few of the Tiny Towns. I think this one's my favorite though. And I've been stitching these on 28 count even weave that I dye myself. No modeling, just like a solid color. Well, I guess there's slate modeling. And for these, I like to pick up just like DMCs or color and cottons that I have because there's so many threads called for in these. I mean, if I have the called for Classic Colorworks, I'll use it, but oftentimes I don't. Just staying with like the theme overall of the piece, color-wise. Next up, this is another like series sort of that I'm considering all one WIP. That I have just one part finished. This is Peppermint and Pine by Brenda Gervais. Started this December 2nd of 2023. This is on a 46 count exemplar. Incorrect pronunciation probably. Color and cotton fabric. Using all the called for threads. I have the Barred Owl done. He was my favorite, so I started with them. Next up is, I think I'm going to do the Tufted Titmouse next. And then there's the Cardinal as well. So all of those will be done. I want them finished as little pillows. I'm considering that a WIP, even though it's kind of a finish, but well, yeah, you get it. Next up is Shakespeare's Peddler. There's no place like home for the holidays, but I think the title is like So this is done on 40 count Weeks Dye Works, very loose. This is like gauze, I swear. Not this white guard base, and it's 40 count gray by Weeks Dye Works. I'm using threads that were similar to what was on the front. I think just like Gentle Arts that I have. That roof is really ghosty, but it is there. Thought it looked aged. I don't know, we're going with it. And then this was my Christmas start for 2023. This is Go Tell It on the Mountain by Heartstring Samplery. It came out at the Jingle Ball, so I think you have to wait another year before this will be a general release. I'm stitching this out on 32 count Hazelwood using color and cottons from my stash, and it's turning out really well. I love this fabric. This is by Fiber on a Whim. Those pine cones are everything. I don't know, something about them. I just love them. It's like the combination of the fabric. I mean, obviously the design is awesome. I don't know. This one just really does it for me. And I think I'm 50% done because this goes into Pattern Keeper, side note. So I'm like at 50% complete. I think I could finish this in the next couple months if I focus on it. So then the last WIP was almost a finish. This is Winter Cometh by Summerhouse Stitchworks. I'm doing sort of an ombre like fade with Gentle Arts and I think 1 Weeks. I have the details of the exact thread colors posted on my Instagram. So I have this much done. So I'm over halfway. The fade is really subtle and in certain lights you can't even tell. But the next two colors are quite a bit lighter, so. I was a little disappointed about like the subtlety of it, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. So there we have it. So now we're going to move into cross stitch related haul. I had shared back in, I think my last video, that I picked up this exclusive pattern from, it's a collaboration between Uncanny Kari and D's 20 Stitches. They're doing like limited release of this. So I got a newsletter notification and jumped on that. So I have a copy of Toonies. And I got the called for Red Cedar Linen by 40 count by Cedar River Linens, which isn't the linen color in this picture, but that's not what I was going for anyway. I like this terracotta-y color. So this is dyed to order, but it came within like 2 weeks, I want to say. Like, it was fast. Really great customer service. So I would recommend ordering from Cedar River Linens, and this is a gorgeous color. It's showing up pretty true, even though my lighting is a little all over the place and artificial, and then I have a window here, so you know, but the struggles. But yeah, I'm excited to start that fairly soon. And then some sad piece of news is there's a store local to me, like 50 minutes away, that is closing its doors, unfortunately. So they were having a 60% off sale of like charts. Thread was gone at that point, but also fabric. And I stopped by and I picked up a few things. So first I saw this chart that I had never, like, I guess I wasn't aware of before. I haven't seen anybody stitch it. Is by Madame Chantilly, called Cactus Mania. I mean, both of them are really cute. Ooh, terrible glare, sorry. Both of them, we'll start with that side. See, that is included in the chart, as well as this one, which will be what I will stitch. Little arrangement of cacti in pots. I thought that was cute. I'm stitching, as I've showed, Winter Cometh by Summer House Stitchworks. So, and I also have Spring Refreshes, Spring Awakens, and in my collection, but I don't have Summer or Autumn, so I picked those up again by Summer House Stitchworks. We have Summer Refreshes and Autumn Provides. And then I grabbed this for my mom. I don't know if I'll stitch it myself when she's done, but this is October House Fiber Arts Pumpkin Fair. I've done Strawberry Fair, and it's really cute. And I've seen a few people stitch this. I think Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, Cross Stitch Kate, along with many others, is Heart and Hand We Santa 2022. I don't know, something about like his coat color is just in the birds and just so good. So grab that one. And then I grabbed 2 pieces of fabric. They're sort of odd sizes. So this one is like a 12 by 13 scrap of 36 count Weeks Dye Works. I believe it's their old base, but it's a really pretty gray color that I've never seen before. Platinum. It's just a gray. So I grabbed that. I like having scraps around for just smalls and everything. And then this one I'm really excited about. This is almost a fat quarter. So it's like 24 by 18 espresso 36 count by Fiber on a Whim. And it is brown in like a folded segment here. But then if you open it up, there's some serious like grungy green splotches going on. So this is really cool. I love a dark fabric, so I'm very happy to have this. And then I want to also mention this because I'm so happy with this major crinkling here, but I ordered Molly Klein design of Sweet Tea Yarns. Was having a yarn sale at the time. I don't think it's still going on, but you can check on Etsy. And I bought this mini skein set. It was called like Boho Vibes or something. And yeah, it couldn't be more me. So this is a set of 10 different mini skeins, 900 yards total, 75% merino, 25% nylon. I have no immediate plans for that, but isn't that just gorgeous? So go check out Molly's inventory. I love her products. So let's talk about now my thrifting acquisitions. I'm looking around me because, yeah, I've thoroughly barricaded myself in here. Let's start with these babies. Okay, I found this candlestick set, which was actually at this location, this particular thrift store, a year ago when I was there, and I was sad that I didn't buy them then. So I went back today, and they were still there. So yeah, I have a cute little set. I like this little crystal detail that's in the center, and they're really thin tapered candles. So I am a sucker for candles and things in a brass finish, as you will see coming up. The other thing I found was this little vase with some dried roses. Really sheds, like, I don't know if you could see like the plume of dried flower bits going everywhere, but that happened. So he's a cutie. And then I found a flower frog at this thrift store for 50 cents. I collect those for, I'm doing all the trees from the Hello from Les Matthews 12 Days of Christmas collection, so I'm always on the hunt for flower frogs if they're a good price. And I would say 50 cents is a good price. At the same thrift store, I picked up, this is like a screen printed like quilt panel. There's 2 of them, and I thought they could be good project bags. So I like wild birds. I don't know why. I have a pheasant on one side, and then these are 2 separate panels, but they're just pinned together. A quail on the other. I thought those would be really cute project bags. Again, 50 cents. This one particular thrift store, I feel like I'm robbing the place every time I go. Everything is so cheap. And then backstory, so if you're interested in my plant woes, is I have a Monstera Adansonii, or Swiss cheese plant, sometimes they're called. And this particular one I have was doing very well for a very long time, and then decided to up and grow these like long vines that had no leaves on them. So I cut those off, transplanted it into a smaller pot, hoping that it would produce more leaves versus just, you know, vines. And now it's just like had enough and is dying off. So, but there's still quite a few cuttings that I could take. So I'm going to try to propagate some, or just maybe grow them in water, because I know this particular type of plant can grow in water. So I found some like vessels that I could use for that purpose. These were, again, very, very cheap. So I have a couple of those to do something with. Hopefully the plant will not like totally die on me, because it's one of my favorites despite being a problem child. But third to last find here, you can hear the glass clinking around, is this strange art piece. I thought it was really cool though. It's like a wicker frame, and then this is glass, and like the ferns are painted on, and then like, so it's like 3-dimensional. Sorry if you saw the glare of the ring light, but then the peacock chair in the back. So I don't know, I thought that was cool, because with my Golden Girls aesthetic. And I haven't talked about records in a while, so I'll quick flash this. I got my man John I surprisingly didn't have this record. I don't have all of his discography, but you definitely should have this one if you're a John Denver fan. So and then the big finale. This is quite possibly my favorite find, I would say, of the year, but it's only January, so I mean it is for the year technically. So far it's my favorite find. There we go. Is this brass owl on a tree branch. I mean, they just don't make stuff like this anymore. It's so cool. I love owls. Like I said, I love brass. Match made in heaven. So yeah, I actually had to choose between a couple different brass owls at this particular store. There was some bookends and then these little guys, and I wanted them all, but I had to limit myself. So this one came home with me. Thanks for staying with me through today's WIP parade and all that it entailed. I have quite a task in front of me in putting all of these projects back in their bags and those bags in a logical place, which it's been a struggle for me lately. Like, I'm not sure the best WIP storage system, but maybe that will be solved tonight. We'll see. I also feel decision fatigue coming on as to like what project I'm going to work on next, now that I've seen everything, remembered everything, and feel like I have more choices somehow. So as I said, I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you are doing well wherever you are, and I will catch you in the next video, which will be sometime in February, towards the end of February. Until then, take care, and I'll see ya next time.